Hi everyone, Vic here from At Forever Scrapping, sharing a process video for Lottie Loves Paper and our new weekly sketch challenge that we are running throughout the summer. Here's the sketch that I'm doing today, and it was designed by team member Niki. And when I saw it, I just absolutely loved it. I was so inspired that I went ahead and did my layout straight away. So I'm going to be using a mixture of collections that I still have left in my stash. Some of the noteworthy that I was using a while back, and also that's by Pink Fresh, sorry, and then also some of the lovely Bloom Street papers by Paige Evans. So I recently saw a process video by Missy, and she'd created her own background using stamping technique and some inks. And once she'd stamped down, she then used I think it was a water brush, to go over some of the ink to create like a watercolour effect. And I just thought her layout with it was stunning. She used flowers and everything, and it was just beautiful. The colours and everything she picked were just amazing. So I was inspired, and that's what inspired the background. The top part of that sketch that you saw was like a patterned paper, excuse me, and I wanted to create my own unique background for it. So instead of using normal inks like Missy had, I've used my Distress Oxides. I've used a grey and I've used a pink, and the pink was just to add some highlights. And I've used some different shaped cloud stamps that I had. I've stamped down, and then I don't have one of those water brushes. Something that maybe I need to invest, I don't know. There's so many tools to do so many different jobs, aren't there? So I just used a paintbrush, and it probably took a bit longer doing it this way rather than just having one of these special tools, but I was super pleased with how it turned out. And because the Distress Oxide ink reacts to the water as well, it just gave it a little bit of a mottled effect as well on some of those fuller clouds. So as you can see, I'm stamping and then just lightly going over a few little bits of each stamp. I didn't want to dilute them completely. I still wanted a little bit of definition there. So just put some of the pink Distress Oxide onto some packaging there, and then watered down and just adding it like some little paint splatters. So tapping my paintbrush, picking the media up on the paintbrush, and then gently tapping it to give a splattered effect over my layout. Now I must say, I forgot to say earlier that I had gessoed the whole of this white piece of cardstock before doing this, and that just means that the inks don't soak in to the paper as quickly, and it gives me a bit more chance to move it around the page before it dries completely. So just checking now that my photos fit. Now the photos were only taken a couple of days before making this layout. We'd discovered some local fields that a farmer had, only literally just up the road from us, and he'd planted them with wildflower seeds. Oh my gosh, they were stunning. They were filled with cornflowers and daisies and poppies. It was beautiful, and just what we needed during the current environment that we're in, and just to go out and get a bit of fresh air. We went a bit later in the evening, so it was really quiet, and oh, it was gorgeous. So I will be scrapping these photos again, but with colour. But for this layout, I wanted them to be monochrome. I think I actually printed them out silver tone just because I prefer that effect on the black and white photos. I think it just sort of gives a little bit more definition to the lighter areas and a bit more striking. So because I've used grey and then a tiny bit of lighter pink Distress Oxide, I wanted to go with mainly a grey and pink layout because I think the two colours work really well together. And I've fussy cut the centre of one of the journaling cards out on one of the Bloom Street pages, and that's going to be a pull-out tag that you can just see there behind my photograph. and then cut up some of those arrows as well, and that will form the basis of that strip that goes across, probably sort of 2/3 up the page, I felt, on the sketch. So I have followed the sketch pretty closely, I think, on this, but you can flip it, you know, on its side or upside down. There's so many ways that you could interpret it. So once I've got like the basis of my layout there, it is literally just a case of building up the layers. I've decided I needed more of a strip going across to divide my page there, so I've just used the branding strip for one of the sheets of paper. And that gives me a perfect line all the way along. And as you'll see as I go along, I distress absolutely everything. So all the pieces of paper there that I've used to distress the back, to back those photographs, and the branding strip that I've used, and the arrows and everything are all distressed. You can buy distressing tools, but I just find using my scissors really helpful, or just for fiddlier bits, so that I don't rip the paper with the scissors. I sometimes just use my fingers, my nails. It gives the same sort of effect. So you can get these effects without having to buy all the expensive tools. So just doing a bit of colour matching there. So I want to build up the layers behind my photos. So I'm literally just pulling out all the things that I think I might like to use on my layout. There's always like the odd few bits that you have left lying around. And the beauty with backing photographs is you don't always have to back them with a massive piece of pattern paper or cardstock. You can literally, like I have done there, tuck in some of your waste cutaway bits, and it's a brilliant way to use up bits and bobs from a collection. So I'm loving that yellow sun. I just think that pops off the page. I think it's lovely, and it fills that void that I've got between the two photographs perfectly. And also it was a really sunny day, so although you can't see the colours in the photo because I've changed them, it was perfect for it. Popped in some of my favourite paper from that Noteworthy collection. I just love that raspberry pink colour. And then just keep going, keep layering up those photographs. And as you'll see in a bit, I've added a little bit of yellow for backing those photos as well, just to tie in with that sun up the top. And I think it just helps bring the layout to life a bit more. I just felt it needed that little bit extra to make it pop off the page. Although it was meant to be just a grey and pink layout, I have added a few little hints of colour in here and there just to help bring it to life. There we go. So yes, so I'm just having a fiddle around there with a few bits of ephemera that I had left from Noteworthy. But as you'll see as I go along, I decide not to use any of those on the layout. So I'll have to find another layout for them. Erasing a few bits now. All the background bits to my photos are all stuck down now, and I'm just layering things up with some sticky foam pads. So zooming along, because you don't need to see me sticking everything to the page. Then wanted to add a bit more interest and depth, So I've used my silhouette machine in the past to cut out like stencils, and I found that this one's lasted really well. I think it was a Paige Evans cut file, this one, designed specifically for using as a stencil, and you can see it's been well used in the past. So just adding some texture paste through these little hearts around the page to add a bit more detail. I didn't want to colour my texture paste this time, so I've left it just plain white. And then fussy cutting around some of the florals from the Bloom Street collection. It's just now really a case of embellishing the page, which is my favourite bit, and layering it all up. And the great thing is, obviously with collections, everything sort of matches together, so you know you can use them all. But the those letters from the Noteworthy collection, they're two-tone, and I just absolutely love those. I think they're beautiful. So, you know, you can mix collections, that they go really well, and I'm super happy with how this layout turned out. Now, these sketch challenges for Lottie Loves Paper are going live every Wednesday morning throughout the summer, and we're going to be setting up albums on our Facebook group page. So hopefully you'll be inspired and you'll join in. The design team have all designed a sketch each, and super excited to launch these new challenges with you all. And everyone loves the sketch challenge. They're absolutely brilliant if you're, you know, lost a bit of your mojo or just want a bit of inspiration. So we're hoping that you'll love these sketches as much as we did, and hoping that as many of you as possible will join in. So please do join in. I think there might be a little prize at the end of it for a lucky person. So remember to hashtag us on it on Instagram, but you must go onto the Facebook group, our community page, the Lottie Loves Paper community, and enter it into the specific album that you know, for each sketch that your layout relates to. So I hope this has inspired you. Niki's sketch was amazing. So just finishing off now, a bit more embellishing, adding some of those gorgeous acrylic perspectives from Bramble Fox. They were just perfect for this page. I've added an eyelet into that cutout bit that I was using as a tag, and some twine. So I'm going to put my journaling on there. And I will leave you just to watch the last few finishing touches. I hope you've enjoyed my process video, and I hope you loved the sketch as much as I did that Niki's put together for us. And yeah, please join in. Please give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and comment. And hopefully I'll see you over on the Lottie Loves Paper community Facebook page, having a go at some of these challenges. Thanks then, bye.